Opening this meeting a couple of minutes late, that's the chairman's fault. We're here to talk about building improvement changes, maintenance, staff, and things. We really just wanted a chance to officially make it public that we were changing the structure of maintenance, kind of like what we started doing our meeting yesterday a little bit. And to talk a little bit about this building was one of the goals as well. The first part of that is, and I don't know, Jeff, if you want to jump in, or Tracy, we want to discuss, we have restructured, so today is our chance to just let the public know that we've restructured the maintenance department a little bit. So jump in here wherever you want to help me, because I don't want you to wait and then say I took your line. So, okay, that's her new line.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Go ahead.
that.
You already spoken up.
But we have restructured, worked a deal with the sheriff's office, where they're going to use some of their funds to turn what was half of Max's time into 40 hours a week, correct? So we'll have 40 hours a week of maintenance going over there. After that illustrious tour the other day, we were seeing the need. I think we were.
And I'm so sorry that you guys work in that. Oh my gosh.
We definitely are seeing the need, irregardless of whether we eventually have to have a new building or not, whatever we can do to keep that one going in the meantime. And so one of our goals was that we saw the need. Lance made some comments about, you've got people living over there, we can't just wait 2 or 3 days for some things to happen. We needed somebody who could get there on it. And so the idea was to move Max over there at 40 hours a week. And we're seeing an increased need in this building as well. And so this part of this meeting was just to let the public know that we've got to start doing some things with this building before we end up having to look at replacing it as well. And starting just with simple things like ceiling tiles and some paint and some things like that. But this building, apparently, I don't think it's been touched since 1970 something, when they did the big remodel and built. I know nothing's changed since I was commissioner here 32 years ago. Nothing said you've changed. You were much shorter then. So.
Much younger too.
Yeah, much younger. So, but one of my goals in calling this meeting was to let the public know that we are going to put more effort into maintenance at the sheriff's office, over at the safety building, and here at the courthouse. We started advertising, what day?
Whatever day you asked me last week, Wednesday or something.
Last week we started advertising for the position for a new maintenance person here. One of the things that we need to work out, and I think Jeff was going to get with you and talk a little bit about, is we're still envisioning that these guys would share tools. So we're not duplicating tools and equipment. My goal would be that we're in an arrangement where they could cover for each other. So if whoever we hire at the courthouse is out for the morning, but we've got snow to remove, that Max could be on that, and vice versa. If there's a day where Max is not available, that we would have somebody on call that could jump in for emergencies over there, to try to make that, so that even though they're working together, the person over here will supervise the janitorial staff over here. Max will be just working over there with that, but with the idea that these two positions could cross over when it's practical, and we're not gonna make, because Max is out sick and you've got a plumbing leak, we still wanna help out with that. Is that kind of what we've been?
That sounds perfect. Yep.
Great idea.
Common sense.
And if you have something bigger job over there and you need 2 of them to do something, or vice versa, we can do, we can have them come and get it done.
Yeah, I think it'll help the maintenance really progress to get the things done that it just kind of have to wait because other priorities happen. So yeah.
I've seen, with the plumbing over there and the heating and some of the leaks, you can get more full time and getting that stuff taken care of, so we get that building back up to
We
snuff.
appreciate that.
And of course, the big win for the county is that we're able to do this with existing funds. We're not expending, we're not going into the budget. We're not shifting that. We're just reallocating, and so I think that's a win. We've started advertising. We'll get our person in position here as soon as we can, and then get Max and them together, some cross training a little bit, tool sharing procedures, all that stuff worked out, so that because I guess we'll have 2 people that can run the 4-wheeler plowing snow in the mornings and 2 people that could do the,
I think the plowing, I envision them being like a team, but they're assigned to different buildings. But they still, there's certain duties that they need to do as a team. You could literally have one guy on the 4-wheeler while one's on the truck. And
Mhm.
just work as a team, do the,
Yeah.
still
Oh,
cover
yeah.
both buildings.
Take half the time to get these buildings done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they can be shoveling the sidewalk, or shoveling the stairs, and, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, it takes 2, yeah.
Or somebody can be salting while the other's finishing the plowing.
yeah. So the goal is that things could be opened up quicker, easier, and we have that redundancy when somebody's ill or on vacation. And,
And then we'll have, more room to be able to send somebody out to the airport for issues like that, if need be,
Yeah, other areas. that need
other
it.
areas that need it.
Yeah.
And the other purpose for the meeting was I wanted a chance to bring up publicly one of my goals for the other 2 commissioners, and we have to do everything in public meetings now, so just been brainstorming. I've talked with the clerk. There is a few $1,000s set aside in a fund for building improvements here at the courthouse. There's not a lot, I think it's $9,000 or $10,000. We still have a few grant dollars, but I would like to get permission from the board to, that maybe we look at whether we have our new maintenance folks do all this, or we contract out, but maybe starting at least at the ground floor and starting to get some painting done and start to, maybe look at repairing some of these rubber seals in the windows that are leaking the little black bug infestation. We've still got the plagues of Egypt going over here. Those kind of things, and those don't affect the sheriff's department, but I wanted to announce that in a public meeting that I'm concerned that we need to jump in on this building, starting with some of the things that would benefit the public and the people that work here. And then eventually we've got to look at some grant money and that and work on infrastructure.
I agree.
As you know, things are, I was just in a meeting with legal and they were discussing the water that drips down in the defense room if it's raining too hard while you're having, I'm like, well, that'll shorten the meetings and make things go quicker and we can get more efficient, but, so we got water starting to run through the roof here too, things like that. Any other comments or from the sheriff's department or anything on, I really appreciated the spirit that we got that done so quickly,
Mhm. I agree.
because we're all just looking for a way to serve the county better.
Yeah.
And the other thing is with the jail too, if there's plumbing issues that, with the grants that we have, if there's big issues, and we need to address those, let's get them addressed, and, if somebody that needs to come in to free him up on other stuff, or if the roof, or, we need to just make sure we get that building taken care of.
Definitely.
In a fast, and a quick, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this is the most efficient way to get this done. There's just too many things on the list for one person to take care of. Too many buildings for one person to take care of, and
Too many different people reallocating priorities is a big problem.
We got 2 dilapidating buildings, and so it's not like they're new buildings. If
Yeah.
they're new buildings, we probably could
yeah.
do something.
That was
a
the
little
ultimately
easier.
is, I think the board felt that it really wasn't a one-person job. It really was, now we're gonna have 80 hours of work to put towards it, maybe we can start to, I don't know if we'll catch up, but at least we can slow down the process of time and wear and tear on these buildings.
Oh, it's definitely gonna make a difference. I'm
Mm-hmm.
confident about that.
As long as there's good communication, I think we'll get a lot more done, a lot of stuff completed.
In servicing, I know that
Mhm.
I've heard stories of the chiller over there when they serviced it this last year, that looked like it hasn't been serviced in quite a long time, so I think that'll be
More time for
more
doing
time for
maintenance and
doing
service,
maintenance and service.
things like that.
Instead of dealing with emergency
Mhm.
repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get into the preventative zone, so we've created another 40 hours of labor that should help with that. It'd be
One
nice
that
to
might
be
help
able
with expenditures down the road if we're able to prevent them from breaking down.
Exactly.
It'd be nice to move into the realm of preventative, not reactive maintenance.
to- Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be.
I only got a few questions, so, Lieutenant Lopez will be in charge of maintenance, once all this kinda takes effect, once you guys get a new guy, for now
Okay.
I'll stay, but usually, if I was running the jail, I'd be overseeing maintenance and stuff, cause most of the maintenance is needed for the jail. who's gonna oversee maintenance for you guys, so that way if there's something,
I can do that too.
Yeah.
Jeff
think
kinda
Jim's-
has been, yeah.
that way they can contact each other if they need the other guy, or if whatever, they got projects going or something.
Yeah, if
don't
you
have to
guys
have
could
them.
liaison back and forth on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to do that, with you guys too, be a
Yep.
liaison between, you and our commission, so that we can make sure that that's getting taken care of and so
Definitely.
we can get.
Sounds great.
With that, yeah,
Then, my other question is the change of status, who does that? Do we need to do one for Max? Are we gonna wait to do that, or do we?
I already started the process.
Did that,
Okay.
And I think that we signed it, and we did that before we started advertising, so all of that is
Perfect.
done.
Effective, the end of the
The
pay
end of the
period.
pay period.
Alright, perfect. Then, I guess, other than that, we'll just business as usual till you guys get somebody hired.
Yes,
And then
please.
we'll go from there. Yep.
Which we are working on.
No, you're not doing anything else for over here.
I'm
just
just
kidding.
kidding.
Just kidding.
Where is that paperwork?
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, that's all. Question.
And we'll let the staff know too, so this, they're the ones that come at us.
You got any
We
questions,
need this,
Max?
we need that.
Can't think of any right now. I'm sure I'll think of them as soon as I walk out that door.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
we're open.
We're open to, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what made it work, is the sheriff's office has been easy to work with, so.
I just know that it will be easier having an extra set of hands, even though we'll be separated by the different buildings. It'll still be nice to know that stuff's getting done here when I'm at the other building and vice versa.
Yeah.
Cause that's the problem right now, is just one guy. I'm fielding all the phone calls, making all the contractor arrangements and trying to get the work done. So it's a juggling act to get everything squared away.
Now, in our old job descriptions, here's a question for the sheriff. I saw that at one time in history, Max's old position over here oversaw or supervised labor from the jail, that would come over here and do projects. Is that
Yeah, we
legally
don't,
even?
yeah, we don't do that anymore.
We can't do that.
We don't have
Yeah.
sheriff's labor anymore, huh?
Yeah, we used to bring inmates out of the jail.
Wait, are you
to do
talking
work.
inmates or sheriff's labor?
Well, they were,
Inmates.
they
Oh.
were sheriff labor inmates. We would.
Oh, I see.
And the maintenance guy, we would take them out of the jail. If they had to be a sentenced inmate, and then you could bring them out to work, but we were getting so much contraband into the jail and everything through that
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
program.
liability
And so we
prevents
quit
us
doing
from
it.
using inmates.
Yep.
Even on freeway cleanups and stuff like that?
So now we don't bring inmates out for any work outside the building.
Okay.
So we had a few hop in cars and drive off.
Try to escape.
Yeah, a few different
Yeah.
things. We brought
Okay.
forth a bunch of issues.
That's,
And
what
so-
about community service, people with probation, does that still exist?
So the
do you know?
sheriff's
Yeah.
labor program.
So there are little projects we can have them do around, we could even have them in the summertime if we have sheriff labor people that have it's still sheriff labor, they get sentenced to it at court, but they're not in jail while they do it.
Right.
So
Okay.
and we only run it like 2 weekends a month, usually in the summertime, but we could potentially have people mow and weed eat during that time
Yeah.
and stuff like
So
that.
regular sheriff's program, not including inmates, cause just remove those from sheriff's labor
Okay.
program. We can have them pretty much do anything that's safe and where there's not a lot of liability attached to it. So
Okay.
When,
basic lawn maintenance, things like that.
when sheriff's labor's going, a lot of times in the wintertime, that's who clears the sidewalks across the street and here Saturdays and Sundays. Have them come out and shuffle your guys' stairs around the block, everywhere,
Okay,
so.
that's good to know, thank you.
Okay, just looking
I've
for
had that
every
question.
resource
Oh, yeah.
we can
Yeah.
find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I
Might
mean.
as well give them something to do.
Now, and in the interest of the county, we don't wanna have to replace this courthouse, so we've gotta do what we can to salvage it.
Well, and historically, I mean, this
Yes.
building's seen a lot of, well, there's a lot of history here, and to maintain it would be, I think,
Yeah, and this is gonna allow it to be more of a priority, and then the other commissioners will hear me harping about let's spend some money and start fixing plaster and painting walls, and Max has already started on ceiling tiles and.
Well, I've already been reaching out, trying to find contractors that can work on the stucco, so we can start getting quotes on repairing the exteriors of these buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's difficult to find people nearby
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
And we need to make it tough enough that people can back into it and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right, cause we got the push
Now that
bumpers
you have
now.
push bumpers, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still laughing about that
Yeah.
yesterday, so.
it wasn't funny for the first couple of days.
No, it wasn't. I'm sure it was not. Any other questions from Sheriff's Department?
Not for me.
Max, anything else at this time? Board members, before I open up to public comment. 2-minute rule on the public. We'll start at this end just to do something different. Jennifer, any
good.
comment? Any good? Marge, any comment? Any comment?
Keith?
Nope. Keith, nothing? Okay.
Keith used to be our maintenance before Max came in.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So whose budget is this coming out of for the extra maintenance man?
Well, the sheriff's budget is covering Max's, and the courthouse is using the same budget that we have.
Just to keep the budget, I mean, the money's still coming out of the same pockets, but to keep the budget straight in my head, is it used to be that the sheriff's office paid half the wages, the courthouse paid the other half of the maintenance man.
Yeah, and that's not how it was working. That's not how it
Well,
was.
that's
That
not-
wasn't for
It's,
quite some time. I
Been
know.
under building and grounds, just under,
Yeah, well,
or
that's the
long.
last I heard, it was supposed to be half and half, so.
Okay.
So now the sheriff will cover the maintenance person over there,
Okay.
and we'll cover it out of the maintenance grounds thing over here.
Keeps me straightened out on budgets when I'm looking at numbers.
Yep, yep, thank you.
Yeah, that'll also help straighten that out.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to adjourn this meeting for lack of further comment.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everybody.
commissioners.
How are you feeling today?